it Slamsmith because it uses slams, and it's also a smith. It can kill bosses, and it can also very easily clear maps. It's not very hard to do. It's so simple, in fact, you'd think an idiot made it. Can you use it? Yes, very easily. And if you watch this video, I'll tell you how to make it, tell you how to level up on it, and tell you how to make it probably better than I made it. So let's go. Before I go over the passive tree support gems, anything like that, I need to go over some core concepts of what's happening here so that you guys understand fully what's going on, why this build is working, what's, all this stuff, because then you guys can try to iterate it on yourself, and then you guys are kind of understanding what exactly is going on here. So if there's anything you want to improve on, if there's any changes you want to make, you can do that freely while fully understanding why this build is working. So what is going on here? Now, number one, I wanted to use Rolling Slam because I wanted to bonk stuff. Now, Rolling Slam, I can get to slam a lot. Now, of course, I am a smith. I'm not a titan or anything like that, and yet it's going kaboomy a lot. Now, why is that? Okay, so number one, Rolling Slam, we only have 4 that are needed. Really, there's only 3 that are needed support gems here, but I'll go over these in full later, but for now, we just need to talk about a few things here. Number one, Tremors. Tremors gives us a 30% chance to get an additional Aftershock, a 15% chance to get 2 Aftershocks, a 10% chance to get 3 Aftershocks, but the entire ability deals 35% less damage. Over here, we have Aftershock as a supported skills have a 25% chance to cause an Aftershock. Now over here, we have Reverberate. Supported skills have 15% increased chance to cause Aftershocks for each quarter second of attack time. Now this is really, really, really important. Now this means my Rolling Slam currently has a 2.44 attack time. That means for every second of attack time, it is getting a 60% increase to all the slam chances. So it's 60% of the first second, 120% on that second, and then we'll just round this and say 2.5. That means all slam chances are increased by 150%. Now, Tremors tries to proc each of these Aftershocks on a different chance, I believe, unless they changed it in this update. It's a little screwy. When we use Tremors and we use Aftershock, we're getting lots of chances to Aftershock, right? And all of these are being magnified by Reverberate. That one apparently didn't go off a lot, so it wouldn't look great. I mean, and all of these are going off by Reverberate, so we have a pretty high chance of getting, we're basically guaranteed at least 1 Aftershock, but we also have a pretty high chance of getting even more Aftershocks. Now, what I do even further from there, we go in here and we grab the chance to Aftershock here, and we grab the chance to Aftershock here. At either rate, these 3 work together really, 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 really well. Rolling Slam, you kind of saw in that video earlier, I'm just not getting lucky. Sometimes here we're getting lucky. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. I mean, it's all chances, right? Anyway, we're gonna hit a lot. These hit a lot. Now, Heavy Swing also reduces our attack time, which ironically does work with Reverberate. The longer we make our attack time, the more Reverberate works. This makes a lot of these things in here, like, this attack speed reduction here, this attack speed reduction here. These work actually pretty well, despite the fact I got this skill cost. I'm a bit torn on whether or not I need this. But at any rate, basically, we attack slowly. This is the slowest attacking ability in the game right now, I think, and it just works really, really well. Now, let's talk about Resonating Shield and Bone Shatter. Why are these working so well? Why are these working together so well? Okay, so Resonating Shield, as you probably suspected, does 100% attack damage, but that attack damage does not come from the shield. That comes from your main hand weapon, which is a 2-handed weapon. So if I'm using a 2-handed weapon and a shield, the armor explosion from Resonating Shield would do a lot more damage. Now, when we combo that with Demolisher, it will break a lot of armor really quickly, cause generally just enough stun while we have all these stun setups, which I will go over later, but this will generally get us into range for Bone Shatter. Now, why am I able to cancel Bone Shatter? Why am I able to do that so smoothly? So, one, you don't have to hold this button. You can actually just tap this button over and over and over again to get Resonating Shield to proc. So if you're early and you don't have enough armor pen or stuff like that, you can do this like 2 or even 3 times and proc it up. But the same way actually kind of goes for Bone Shatter. Bone Shatter does its damage. I've mentioned this a lot in my videos. It actually does its damage right around here when it's like, I'm going to call it at like 30 degrees down. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But at any rate, you can make Bone Shatter do its damage very, very, very quickly. So you can Resonating Shield, Bone Shatter, Resonating Shield, Bone Shatter. You can get these off really quickly. This allows us to clear packs of enemies very, very well. Now then, why? You might be wondering, do I not use Rolling Slam to clear packs of enemies? Well, it's slow. This is slow. This, not slow, and allows me to keep moving forward. This, slow. And for those of you guys who watch many of my videos, I use Resonating Shield, Bone Shatter in a lot of my builds because it's just okay. So you can see there you're getting lucky and you get like 7 aftershocks. Anyway, Resonating Shield, Bone Shatter, once you have a two-handed weapon and a shield, becomes a very effective, let's say, map clearing device that doesn't take a lot of investment, that allows you to clear that map off and allows you to set up the rest of your build to, you know, do what I like to do, which is Rolling Slam. So with that out of the way, okay, let's talk fully about the support gems and fully about the passive tree and fully about how you're going to level your character. We're now going to go fully over every single support gem. So first up, for Mace Strike, I would call this more of a vestigial thing. Don't pay attention to what I put in here. I tried a bunch of different things. I rarely, if ever, actually use Mace Strike. You can see this is just irrelevant. Don't pay attention to it. I'm mentioning it, so if you see it in the video and you think, oh, what's he doing with that? I'm doing nothing with that. I rarely, if ever, use Mace Strike. So first up, Rolling Slam. What are we doing with Rolling Slam? 3 links is good because you can put in the 3 aftershocks. 4 links is better because you can put in Heavy Swing, and shockingly 5 links is the best. So Heavy Swing is good, more damage, slows your attack speed a little bit, which is nice, but overall, I mean, it's still a DPS increase of a good amount. Tremors, Aftershock, Reverberate, we went into that. They all work together massively well. They're just really good synergy. Then I went Heft. I just wanted more damage, and this is physical damage. My build is mostly focused on physical. It's not really a bleed build. It's just that this is physical, this is physical. They work together well. I've tried to keep physical damage on my items being the damage type, so these work out pretty well. Bone Shatter. Bone Shatter, we're doing a pretty typical play. Impact Shockwave, Magnified Effect. These work together outrageously well. This should basically always be on Bone Shatter for every single warrior. It's just your default play. After that, I went Ancestral Call because Ancestrally Boosted did get buffed recently. A lot of people forget all the different things that get buffed in this patch, which is weird, but okay. Ancestral Boost used to do 20% damage, 20% more AoE, so 30% more damage, 20% more AoE. So when we look at the more AoE and the more damage, every 6 seconds, this allows Bone Shatter to just absolutely, it goes kaboom, everybody dies, big explosion. Okay. Once I get it a 4 link, I just wanted some damage. In my build, which I'll go over items after this, but in my build, if I couldn't get physical damage on an item, I got fire damage on an item. I focused that way because fire damage does have a lot of synergy with warriors. At either rate, fire infusion, that's just damage. I just got this for damage, that's it. Okay, our totem. What are we doing with our totem? Why do I have a totem? Well, that's pretty obvious, right? I mean, Font of Rage, Font of Blood, and Ancestral Urgency. The totem sucks. He's just here to give us some rage, give us some healing. That's it. It's just good to have. I actually think more classes should kind of have good utility abilities like this. I think utility abilities are really fun. I like using them. I don't always need to use them, but if I do, you know, it's kind of just, okay, here's a boost. It's just if we're next to the totem and we can set it up really quickly, if we're next to the totem, he feeds us health and he feeds us rage. That's it. Seismic Cry. When do we use Seismic Cry? Probably when enemies are stunned, right? I put Inspiration on it just to keep its cost down. My build doesn't really have much mana. Let's say I can't really deal with mana very well, so I just put that in there. Generally, I just pop a mana potion, and I don't really have any issues. Haven't fought a boss that can out-sustain my mana pool, so realistically, it's fine, right? I just put the less cost on it, and then it gives us rage if we hit an enemy. Now, reasonably, if I had 4-linked my Infernal Cry, I think I would put Raging Cry under Infernal Cry. I'm just saying that now. I have limited 4 links. We're pretty early into the season still, so I don't have everything 4 linked. I just happened to use these unique strongbox, which gave me a 5 link. That's it. Other than that, you know, yeah. So in a perfect world, Seismic Cry would just be here for inspiration. And then I would have shoved Raging Cry down here on Infernal Cry, because Infernal Cry I use way more. Okay, because I don't need enemies to be stunned. Scavenge Plating, I have Persistence. This gives it more skill effect duration. This lets the buff keep up for significantly longer, so I don't need to shred the enemy's armor as much. Because every time we do shred the armor, and I do have the quality on this, that's 7% more armor per scavenge plating. Now this is really big, because 7% more armor, you know, with 10 plates, that's 70% more armor. That's a really big modifier, and we really want to keep this modifier up because of all its synergy with Smith stuff, which I'll go into in a second. At either rate, scavenge plating, very good. Put quality on it, it becomes outrageously good. I put persistence, and then cannibalism, and thorn skin because I forgot to remove it. I was trying some thorn synergy earlier. The most important thing is cannibalism is still outrageously good. Persistence, you absolutely need on scavenge plating. You can do it with your spirit. Other than that, I would probably recommend maybe the 1% healing over time, I'd wager. That's, yeah. As resonating shield, demolisher, armor explosion. Now, obviously, we don't want to be using resonating shield. We want to shred their armor with it, but we don't want to be sitting in it. Its DPS is abysmal, right? We want to get in and out. We want to shred their armor. So whenever a boss, whenever we, for example, leap strike to consume an armor debuff, so we can get back to our scavenge plating, because we want to keep scavenge plating up. We kind of have to sit in front of bosses and use rolling slam a lot, so we want to be as tanky as we can so we don't die doing the rolling slam, right? So at any rate, this shreds armor as quickly as we can. Once a boss needs armor shred, we're just doing this over and over and over. This is the fastest way pretty much to shred armor while also not really using an ability. It's also really good at just clearing out enemies on a map. It's just really good. I put thorn skin because once again I was trying some thorn synergy. It didn't really work, but originally we had something else on resonating shield. At the rate, now we have mobility. I would recommend these three. These are good. So we got demolisher, armor explosion, mobility. Now mobility means you can move slightly faster. That's not that big a deal. You don't absolutely need it, but as you can see here, that, you know, a little bit less movement speed penalty is helpful. I tried without mobility for a bit, but I noticed I was actually a little bit too slow during things like breaches, and with mobility, it just gives you that little bit of extra movement speed. It also allows you to block and move a little bit quicker. I think these three are the way to go. Demolisher, armor explosion. I mean, this is pretty typical for resonating shield, right? Now for leap slam. Leap slam got a colossal buff earlier. Instead of 30% more stun buildup, it's 86% more stun buildup at level 19. And if you consume an armor debuff, it causes 500% more stun buildup. And if you have a quality, I don't have it yet, it does 20% more damage against fully broken armor. Now, put all this together in your head, right? So it does a huge more stun, then multiplies that more stun by 500% more stun, then does 20% more damage against fully broken armor, which damage is stun, right? So this thing multiplies a lot of stun. I think someone actually mathed it out. It's literally over 1,000 stun multiplier if you hit a broken armored enemy. So leap slam, as we mentioned earlier, scavenge plating. This gives us this huge armor buff. We do have it last for a bit, but the thing is, if we only keep up the armor buff, if we're sitting here leap slam, sorry, not leap slam, if we're sitting here rolling slam, rolling slam, rolling slam, eventually the armor buff that we have on ourselves will wear off. We can keep it up by just tapping this, so we can do this, and we can tap it in between to keep the armor debuff up, but eventually our armor buff will wear off, and then we become squishy. And then bosses can start hurting us pretty badly, and we don't really want that. So leap slam is a good way to consume the armor debuff, the fully broken armor, so that we can replant it on our enemy, and then once we replant it on them, we get the armor buff from scavenge plating back. Leap slam itself consumes the armor debuff quite effectively, can set us up for some stun. Now, it's not always reliable. We will stun pretty consistently, but the second attack of rolling slam will do 50% more damage against heavy stun targets. So that's pretty effective. It's not like this isn't a synergy that I'm like looking to use all the time. It's just happenstance, and it works pretty well. For Infernal Cry, we want to do that as much as we can because rolling slam uses war cries pretty well. So here we have premeditation, so supported skills deal 15% more damage. Attacks empowered have a 30% chance not to lower the empowerment count. This is just really, really good, actually. And then we have Enraged Warcry, so we consume 10 rage, causing attacks empowered by them to deal 30% more damage. Where do we get our rage then? Well, as we go over all this, I mean, let's go into itemization. Let's go into choices on that. Actually, let's talk about rage for a second. Sorry, Warriors, rage is kind of just free right now. It really is. It really, really is. I don't know if the developers intended it just so Warriors basically just get a free 30% more damage multiplier, but that's kind of how it feels. So how do we get so much free rage in our build that I can just use Enraged Warcry? I'll go over full items in a second. I just want to fully explain this one. One, there's a new socket you can put on your gloves where you get 1 rage on melee hit. So that's pretty good. Then over here, I have a jewel where we get 1 rage on melee hit and 1 rage when hit by an enemy. Then I have another jewel over here, get 1 rage on melee hit. So that's a lot of rage to get for free in combination with the totem, which can give us rage. Now remember that will proc on each one of these. So that'll be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Well, we've also got this totem rolling. Generally, we'll always have enough rage. It's not really a big deal. We'll generally always have enough rage. Okay. So that finishes Infernal Cry. Overwhelming Presence, I haven't put anything on. This is just really good for making it easier to stun enemies, as you might imagine. With Leap Slam, we do have a very good stun setup. Now, I didn't actually go over Leap Slam's setup here. So I went Lightning Infusion because I wanted to go into Fusion. It's pretty good, right? We got Lightning Infusion, Stomping Ground, Close Combat, and Fist of War because we don't use Leap Slam very often. We only use it every so often to take away the armor debuff so we can replant it to get our buff. So Fist of War works absolutely perfectly here. We're not really using it to clear maps either. But if we do use it to clear maps, I mean, every 6 seconds we just go kaboom, right? Stomping Ground, I'm going to be real, I'm not entirely sure it's working right. It's very, very, very strong, but I'm not really sure it's working right on Leap Slam. I'm still kind of in the testing phase on this one. I don't really know what's happening here. Something's screwy. If you want to remove Stomping Ground and just add a generic damage, that's totally fine. I mean, I just went Lightning Infusion, Close Combat, Fist of War. This is just generic damage. You can put another 50% stun modifier support gem on this one if you want. You can just turn Leap Slam into a Giga Stun. That's totally good, right? Okay, so let's talk about or actually, you know what? Oh, we can't really talk about itemization until we talk about the Smith. Okay, this is going to be very complicated, isn't it? Oh boy. So let's do the entire passive tree second, but Smith is part of itemization. For now, we're going over itemization, okay? But to go over itemization, I need to go over the Smith. So what is going on with the Smith of Kativa? A lot. So once you get your 8 ascension points, you're going to have this and this. And this is like very important to how we itemize. 1, modifiers to fire resistance also grant cold and lightning resistance at 50% of their value. And modifiers to maximum fire resistance also grant maximum cold and lightning resistance. So is this going to get nerfed? Maybe next season. For now, I think we're good. I don't expect this to get hotfixed. There's like maybe a 1% chance in my mind, but like there's like it's like basically 0. I think Smiths are top 3, maybe 4 right now, but at any rate, they're not really hotfix territory. So don't worry about that, okay? But for right now, this is very strong. So strong, in fact, that your stats end up kind of looking like this. So yeah, fire resist good. Over here we have dedication to Kativa. Armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits. Oh boy. Body armor grants so 25% of physical damage taken from hits is instead taken as fire damage. Oh boy. 20% more strength and 15% more life. The downside is we can only wear white armor. So let me move my camera here real quick, and let's talk about then this white armor. You can quality, socket, and vol your white armor. I've done this a few times. I have some backups. You can actually see my backups. I've been trying to, save and prep for a bit, right? If you can get the physical damage reduction, the additional physical damage reduction on a vol, on like a top tier armor. I went with Superior Ornate Plate because I really like that health regen. It didn't have that much lower armor than other ones. I think it's just really, really, really good. So remember, with this one, you can only use normal armor. So what can you do with your normal armor to make it good? Again, quality it, vol it. Well, quality it, then socket it, then vol it. Now, there's lots of good vol effects. This, I think, is the absolute perfect one, the additional physical damage reduction. As we just mentioned, because 25% of your damage from physical is being taken instead as fire, and then we can get some physical damage reduction here on our chest piece. Despite having only a normal chest piece, we can actually make it weirdly effective. The passive health regen is quite good. The additional physical damage reduction is quite good. So how do we want to itemize as our totality with our kit? Now, number one, I got reduced attribute requirements for my two-handed because I don't quite have enough strength to play normally. My build doesn't quite have enough, so the reduced attribute requirements allows me to dual wield, well, I shouldn't say dual wield, but one-handed, two-handed weapon while still being effective. And I would recommend you go with that, and that's quite good, right? Other than that, you might notice a pattern. We want lots of strength, want lots of life, and lots of fire resist. Now, a shield, you want the most block. Sorry, you want the most block on your shield you can get, because that's just huge damage mitigation. Get the most block on your shield you can get additional physical damage reduction, and get fire resistance. Those are probably the three most important, because this will, we can effectively make it so physical damage is irrelevant through itemization. Lots of people complain armor is useless. Lots of people say armor doesn't do anything. It does actually, especially on Smith. So if we can get physical damage reduction here and physical damage reduction on our shield, even though we don't have lots of armor from our body armor like other warriors might, we will take a lot of damage reduction because 25% of that physical damage is going into fire. Now, armor is more effective against smaller hits, and it will be much smaller after 25% of it is going into our fire resist. So with this physical reduction, I'm sure you have seen me. If you ever watch me live, I can stand directly in front of pretty much every boss and spam abilities, and there's not much they can do about it. It's very unfair to them. I feel bad for them. Also, armor applies to chaos, so we still get hurt a lot, actually. I should probably have more chaos resist in my build. I don't, but oh well. It helps a little bit, okay? Now, you might notice our rings. Obviously, our rings, health, strength, fire resist. Fire resist ring with more fire resist. Fire resist ring with more fire resist. And then, you might not believe this, I gave it more quality fire resist. So, because remember, we've got all this fire resist. How is our itemization working with that? Well, we're going to have to go back into our tree here. We have, of course, unnatural resilience. We get 1% more maximum fire resistance for every 40% uncapped fire resistance. Because fire resistance maximum, because resistance maximum in the other two, and half our fire resist becomes resistance in the other ones, we literally only want fire resist. Hopefully you guys get the idea here. So you might notice a pattern here. Okay, you got chaos, or so you got lightning, but our build's not perfect yet, right? So right here we got fire resist, down here we got fire resist, up here we got fire resist, here's some fire resist with fire resist, here's some fire resist with fire resist. You might not believe it, but my amulet, yeah, it actually does have fire resist. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. That's all Smith needs. Itemization on Smith is quite good. Now, I think as time goes on, maybe this will get more expensive as more people realize that, you know, double fire resist rings are insanely good for Smith. But maybe they won't because, you know, maybe there aren't that many smiths. I mean, there are a lot of smiths, but, you know, there's only so many of them and they can only buy so many fire resist rings. So these are pretty good. It's just what I'm saying, okay? Other than that, itemization, just want strength. On this one, I did socket in the increased area of effect. I did that because I like more area of effect. You can, of course, change that if you want. You can go with, very easily, you can go with more chaos resist. I think I put chaos resist in my shield because I was kind of tired of getting killed by chaos damage. At either rate, on that, you want typical warrior shenanigans. Armor, strength, life, fire resist, rarity. That's pretty much it. It's not too complicated. So that's all itemization. Okay, so then let's talk about the skill tree. Now, while leveling, this is pretty much going to look the same. So what did I do? Okay, while leveling, we didn't go block at all because we weren't actually blocking. But while leveling, you're going to do a simple path. Go down here, go up through here. Go grab probably this one. Yeah, so go whoop, grab this, fold back, get more armor so you don't die. Okay. You might want to grab this one for increased area effect. It's pretty useful, actually. Breaks more armor. This one is pretty good. Go down here. Now, I grabbed the skill speed. Once again, I'm a bit torn. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. Yeah. Go down through here. Okay, now you're going to grab these two-handed nodes. And then what I actually did, this might be a bit silly, Billy, but before going further down in this tree and grabbing a bunch of situational stuff, I went down here. Maybe it was a little bit too much traveling, but I grabbed this because that's physical damage and break armor, physical resist, you know. So this allows us to pretty much shred through armor, so we don't need to use this resonating strike very often. Sorry, resonating shield. Then we got the block chant. I got this later. I would probably skip this, to be honest with you. This is good for AoEing. This is good for this. For now, if you're bothering on leveling, I would go down here. Don't do what I did. I'm gonna actually say, don't do what I did. Be a bit smarter, maybe. So go down here, grab these. Go down here, grab these. Do make sure to at least get these 4 points in armor. It will be invaluable for you to survive the laning phase. Now, at this point, you can make some choices. This one here, pile on, gives 30% increased effect for fully broken armor. Now remember, fully broken armor, and why this is so important. If armor is fully broken, which you want your enemies to have all the time, a fully broken armor character takes 20% increased physical damage. Now, to my knowledge, that is a multiplier on their damage taken, which applies after your damage to them. So that's effectively a 20% more modifier. Now, when you increase this by 30%, we are increasing this from 20% to 26%. In other words, this is about 5% more damage to fully broken armor enemies. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things, and it's a bit niche, but I got it anyway. It also gives you some extra armor breaks. You have to spend less time in resonating shield. It's effective. I'm also trying to go up here, as you can see, to grab vocal empowerment. I wouldn't do that while leveling. At any rate, go through here, grab these, go through here, grab these, go through here, grab these, go through here, grab these. That's while leveling. While leveling, that's pretty much it. Now from here, once you're done with leveling, let's look at us in our totality. Why does our tree look like this? So I wanted to path the least I could. I basically wanted to path the absolute minimum that I had to. So what we did is we took a straight path down here, up through here, down through here to grab a natural resilience. Do you guys see everything here? We pathed through here. We grabbed extra AoE so we could clear better here. We grabbed more armor break and physical damage down here. We grabbed lay siege. We grabbed extra block chance here. Look at this. I would say this is pretty good. Now up through here, you could actually save a point by pathing up through here and not grabbing the max lightning resist. I grabbed that because max lightning resist. I don't like dying to lightning. I don't like getting struck by lightning. You could take these two away and path up through here. That's an option. That's a choice. It's just not one I took. I also took the jewel up here. So it's a pretty typical warrior pathing. We're not really doing anything outrageous, not really anything outlandish. This is pretty typical. Some people don't go down here and grab this stuff. Some people do. It really depends on you. At either rate, you know, I'm just showing you guys this right now. It's really not that complicated. Now, of course, the smith does allow you to level quite well. While leveling and you only have 2 ascendancy points, I would still recommend you use the normal body armor. And depending on who you're fighting, pick this. Are you going to fight Jaman-Ra? Well, then you probably want lightning resist. Doriani, once again, you probably want lightning resist. You can take 2 different resistances while leveling, as you only have 2 ascendancies, but shockingly, Jonathan did say that the enemies were balanced at 0% resistance during the campaign, and he's right. That means if you get 75% resistance, you basically do not take damage. It's actually crazy. You can stand in front of Jaman-Ra and just beat the crap out of him, and there's not much he can do about it. At Act 4, you can stand in front of Count Geonor. He actually can do enough damage to chew through it, but not very easily. What I'm trying to say here is choose the 2 resistances for the fight you're about to fight, and Smith is actually quite effective at leveling. Now, once you're done, here's the thing. Once you are done with leveling, how are you gonna transfer? How, you know, you're done with leveling, you're done with the campaign, you're moving the maps. How are we gonna transfer, right? Because you obviously want to get your points out of the resistances and into these outrageously powerful nodes down here. So first off, here's what I recommend. Number one, put a point in every resistance, because once you have 4 ascendancies, you know, you've got your 4th ascendancy, so you put a point in cold resist, lightning resist, you put a point in fire resist, and then you can choose what you want to do. I put it in the 5% health regen. But once you're done, take this point out of lightning resist, take this point out of cold resist, get your 6th ascendancy point, go here, go here. Once you have 75% fire resist and you have this one and this one, you pretty much have at this point unlimited resist of lightning and unlimited resist of cold, and you can save these 2 points. Probably get strength, probably get life. They're pretty good at keeping you alive. Alternatively, go for Molten Symbol and Dedication to Kitava, because both of these will make you, well, really, really tanky. At either way, you try to wean yourself off these as you improve your items and get more fire resist. You wean your way off these and you move into this build here. This build is quite good. Very, very good. Look at this build in its totality. This is good. You can make some small improvements to it if you want, but it's very, very, very strong. You're gonna obliterate maps. Maps will not be any challenge to you. Bosses will not be any challenge. Not really until Pinnacle +1. You might run into some difficulties, but realistically, you're gonna be at +2 before you really have to actually try. I mean, for most of them, you're gonna be able to stand in front of them and rolling slam. I mean, realistically, that's just what this build is good at. So, and I just want to talk about my defensive choices here, because I did take some defensive choices. And why did I take them? Okay, so number one, lay siege, because with a giga block weapon, that's 65% block, quite good. That's 65% more damage, and I was right in the neighborhood anyway, next to this, because, you know, armor breaks good. That's a lot of damage, and block is just more forms of damage mitigation. Over here, blade catcher is the most powerful defensive node potentially in the game right now. Makes crits not crit. I don't know a better way to put it. Crits don't crit you. You don't give a shit about crits. Okay? Now, stun did get nerfed to half. You have half the stun resist you used to have. That means polished iron is good. I don't have a better way to put it. I try to play without polished iron because, you know, nobody likes putting or having to put points into defenses, I should say, but I eventually gave up and I said, okay, polished iron. Now, there is a choice. You could go down here instead. This increases your stun threshold ludicrously hard. And you know, in all honesty, stun threshold and strength might be better. I wanted to go with more armor because, again, armor blocks chaos damage for me, and because we're removing 25% of the physical damage we take into fire damage, that makes armor a super premium because it just works really, really well for us. And that's just what I did. You can try to improve it differently. As I did. I also just, obviously, I grabbed the AoEs because these are pretty good nodes right here. And they were in the neighborhood, let's say. They were right there, okay? So that's a build. That's everything I did. Thank you all for watching, everybody. Thank you all. And, boy, this is much longer than I thought it would be. But thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody. And as always, have a great rest of your day.